Okay, thanks. Thanks for coming back. This is the Dating While Adulting podcast. Thank you all for listening. Tell 50 friends to tell 50 friends, and we'll get our own susu going. Like I always like to say, that is your responsibility as a listener, besides just listening, downloading, subscribing, and leaving comments and stuff like that. You are a part of this show, so play your part. Do what
Do they
you're
actually leave
supposed to do.
comments?
Huh?
Do people actually leave comments?
That's the whole thing. It's like I encourage people to leave comments, but they like just tell me personally or shoot or hit me up in private, but they don't leave like. But I guess it's the same thing in the grand scheme of things.
No, man, we need traffic. Leave the damn comment. Oh, you forgot to introduce me first.
Yeah, that person is Reggie, or as you might recognize him from a previous podcast, that is Butthurt Reggie. Butthurt Reggie.
No, I'm raging Reggie today.
Yeah, that's from a podcast back in the day, which still cracks me up because he was in a bad mood. Also, what you'll see is that's oh, say hi, Reggie.
Hi, Reggie.
Yeah, and also you'll see a woman sitting next to me, and we had Nicole on the show for our first series of Ask a Woman segments. And while Nicole is great, we love Nicole. Nicole will actually be back for more. We like to have as many women as possible on the show so we can get as many different perspectives as possible. So people will stop calling us misogynist and sexist. Well, that's Reggie.
Well, I don't care if I'm fine. Fuck, I'm gonna bash him anyway.
Okay, thanks for that. This is someone to provide some estrogen to the room and counter if she needs.
Well, I don't know, because the last couple of podcasts, I think you provided enough. Ooh. Well, that was a shot. That was a shot. That was a shot. For all mankind, I had to defend us.
Out long distance.
Because I mean, boy, because I remember, boy, Mike was throwing us under the bus for a minute there.
Nobody was throwing anybody off the butt under the bus. You were so off the rails in some of your views. Somebody had to like. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. This is Pamela. And the reason I say it like that is because when she's speaking in a professional context, I always tease her because she sounds
you can't say that.
More right. Thank you. It sounds more proper than she normally does. And now we get the same old normal hood Pamela. Actually, I just said that because it makes her mad.
There is no hood Pamela.
That's right.
I gotta say this to Miss Pam. Go Gator.
S is plural. There are a whole bunch of them.
Not if you're a Florida congressman. Go Gator. But that's got nothing to do with anything. Pamela is going to serve as our woman today in our Ask a Woman segment. And just to give you a little background, I have known Pamela, and Reggie has known Pamela since the mid-90s. I think we met like 1995.
Damn, you're right.
I was a small child.
Right. And
we kidnapped her.
Right. And unlike Nicole, who Reggie just met like 5 minutes before we started recording that first episode of Ask a Woman, he's known Pamela for years as well. So we're all friends. Pamela is also one of the two best female friends that I have in this world, which makes her one of my best friends in this world. Shout out to my Kobe girl too. My other freak, as they say, but don't worry about that. This is a non-sexual thing.
We don't say freak. You call us that.
Doesn't matter. You are what I say you are. Again, in a non-sexual way. So welcome, woman.
Thank you. This will be
a
short segment. Men ain't shit. Thank you and good night.
All right.
That means we're going to have a good old time in the old town tonight.
First of all, before we even get into the questions, yo, Reggie, I got a question to ask you. And if you don't feel comfortable answering, I understand.
This should be interesting.
Back in your single days, I don't even know if they had cell phones back in your single days.
Beepers.
Right. Back in your single days, did you ever send a woman a dick pic?
No.
Okay.
Were cell phones popular back then? And the whole no, seriously. You've been married a minute.
Not that long of a minute. When cell phones came out, I was still dating. I wasn't married yet. Actually,
were there camera phones though?
Yeah, there were camera phones too. No, I never done that.
You have never sent a dick pic in your life?
No.
Reggie sent hieroglyphics of his dick.
You know how you doing it back in the day? You had to sit there and go back and forth like 50 times to get the. But no, I never did. Now I've seen pictures of when I was a lot more fit. I said, chest pics up, but never dick pics.
Were they solicited?
Yes, they were.
So somebody actually said, "Send me a picture of your pictorial."
Yes, because they were sitting there and said, "I don't believe you." I'm like,
okay, you were bragging.
Hell yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm not mad at that. Okay. Woman, have you received penis pictures before?
I have received so many unsolicited dick pics from people who I would never think would do that. It's one thing when just a regular guy does that, but when people you work with,
people you work with,
casually,
what the fuck?
Yes,
this talk is already going in a direction I wasn't expecting.
Oh my god!
Who you work with in the Me Too sexual harassment era, or was it
Me Too hadn't started then?
Oh, okay.
But you send me a dick pic on the phone that my job pays for.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this question, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, obviously. They were unsolicited pictures, but did you ever wind up sleeping with any of those dudes? Pictures?
I really feel like that's an inappropriate question.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, we'll move on then. So, as she's blinking, which speaks to the fact that sometimes they work.
Yeah. No, well, I'm going to say,
but I would think they don't work as much as they work.
But until I'm sitting on it.
Yeah. Well, I will say Pamela probably what the dick pic was from someone she was already digging, not some random stranger say, "Hey, look at my dick."
well,
I knew them, but yeah, I wasn't expecting that, especially from a coworker.
You weren't at the point in the quote unquote relationship.
There was no relationship.
Oh, well, okay. That goes that theory.
The reason I'm bringing this up, and it's not necessarily to just like have a woman on the show to talk about sex stuff, but it's because it speaks to Reggie. Did you hear the story about Jared Porter? He was the GM of the Mets. Huh?
Oh, okay. That was something.
He was a GM of the Mets, and he got fired like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And for sending like dick pics to this reporter.
He know her? I mean, of course he knew her.
He met her, and like in the course of doing the job, she was reporting for the team. He was with a different team at the time. He met her and then was like, "Hey, let's exchange numbers" on that first meeting. She's thinking it's a professional thing. She can use him as a source. And he's like, whatever. He starts sending her text messages at night.
I bet he's not the first guy to do that though. Professionally.
Of course not. But
sure. Damn. Yeah. So
his must have been offensive.
Well,
I think it's all offensive, actually.
So he's like sending her text messages and stuff. And even though she feels it's kind of weird, she still like is complicit and stuff like that. And I think he asked her for a picture and she sent it to him, but just of her smiling. Now, as Reggie has that look on his face, just to give a little context on that, she's she's a foreigner.
Okay.
So she's covering the team.
That sounds racist.
No, she lives overseas. She's from a foreign country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, not even an immigrant or anything like that, because she doesn't live here. She's covering the team from an outlet overseas, so she is a foreign
country.
Yeah.
Okay, it just sounded really racist, but okay.
Okay.
No, we did just get over the Trump era.
Don't say his name.
Sort of.
Dub that out.
Okay. Dub that out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she was like, in my country, I just didn't know if it was like an American thing. I don't really know how it works, but you send me a picture, I'll send you a picture, whatever. No big deal. And that just like upped it from there. And then he started
sending him a headshot.
Then he started sending her dick pics.
He sent more than one?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Different angles?
Hey, now, I don't know. I'm not getting to the details of that mess, but he started sending her those pictures and stuff like that. And she was just like, okay, I don't know what to do with this because she's a foreigner. She's like, she doesn't really know the whole HR thing and all of that. So she just sat on that mess for a few years. And
Years.
yeah, I think this happened in like 2016, something like that.
Oh, he thought he had got away with it.
Right. He, like I said, he was with another team then and actually went to a couple other teams in the meantime. And so some kind of way, because like I said, she's a reporter, she was talking about to another reporter and stuff like that, who was like, yo, you can't let that pass. And they convinced her to finally let it pass. I mean,
Okay, I have a problem with that now.
no, they convinced her to finally let it
There's
out.
no statutes of limitation on dick
Yeah.
pics.
What's the problem that you
See,
have with it?
because my thing is, keep going.
Okay, so yeah, I'm waiting to hear this. So the thing about it is she finally like stepped up and stuff like that. And part of the reason, to your point, that you're about to make, Reggie, is it was weird to her because she never felt comfortable because she's still covering the MLB.
Okay.
So she still has to interact with him
Okay.
with all of this having happened. And so they finally reported it on ESPN and it came out. And what it came down to was she finally told this dude, look, this stuff is inappropriate. That's not the chick.
She was still sending her stuff.
I'm coming to that. I'm not into all that stuff. Stop this. He apologizes and then proceeds to send her 60 more text messages.
Of dick pics.
No more dick pics,
Okay.
but just texting her trying to get on.
Oh, I thought he was probably texting her saying, please don't, I'm so sorry, like begging her to tell anybody.
That's what some of them were. But I guess he thought that, okay, everything is cool. So now I can start texting her as a friend and we can just go back, dial it back, and I can still like get with her. But nothing was inappropriate. But the point is, after she said stop, he just kept sending her messages. Not inappropriate
She must
messages.
be that chick.
Yeah, I was trying to get a picture of it, but couldn't find it. But so that's the whole reason that it came up. This thing just happened recently, and having a woman here, and from women that I talked to, I don't know that I've spoken to a woman that hasn't received a dick pic before. And they all say the same things, that they're unsolicited. And my question is always, my statement is always, dudes send those things because they work.
They do?
Every time, but they work. So
They do.
My funniest experience was a guy sent me a picture, ironically, as I'm going into therapy. So I look at the pictures, the guy I hadn't talked to in several months, and I'm like, what is it about me that he thinks this is appropriate? So
Then that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
So of course, that like just takes over my therapy session. So I'm in there, I'm talking to the therapist. I mean, I must be giving off some vibe of desperation. I must not be as confident as I need to be that men think this is appropriate. I go on and on and on. And because this guy is so expensive, my therapist, I don't ever take my phone in there because I don't even want to be distracted for what I pay him an hour for 45 minutes. I get back to my car, and of course, the first thing I do is grab my phone and look at it just because I think the world's going to blow up while I'm in therapy. They're like literally like 25 text messages. And I'm like, oh my God, who's died in my family? And all these chicks, because apparently he sent it to a bunch of chicks.
Oh, like a group text?
A group text. I don't even know how this works.
Wow.
And so all these chicks are like, fuck you. Who you hell you think you are? And how many of us are on this text? And delete me too, motherfucker. You ain't shit. I knew you was fucking around. So I felt really crazy afterwards because I could have just talked about myself the whole session.
No, the look on my face
there was
was
nothing wrong with me. Like you said, this must work because there were like 25 of us literally on this text string.
Oh my God. I just texted my sister about this.
Oh, I thought you were about to say you just text her a dick pic.
Oh
no,
come on that out.
Really? Anyway, that was the look on my face when you were talking, doggy. Because outside the fact that he sent it on a group text, that's just fucking just creepy weird. But I got the answer from my sister. She said, yes, she received dick pics too. I'm like, what the fuck are wrong with these men? I don't, you keep saying it works, but first of all, what the fuck is wrong with these men to actually do it? And second of all, what's wrong with these women that actually have it work?
But again, it's kind of like when we talk about like batting averages and stuff like that. You approach 10 women, and if you get 3, that's a good night.
Yes.
You know, it's the same thing I'm imagining with dick pics. It's like if you send them out to 10 and you get to knock down 1, it's a good night. I mean, what do you have to lose? Obviously, you're
Dude.
proud of your stuff.
I mean, I'm a little out there, but damn, my ego ain't that big where I go, oh, let me send this dick so I can
I'm
get.
shocked you hadn't sent one. I mean, seriously. I would have lost the house on that.
I'm just surprised
Yeah,
myself,
I would have
dude.
lost the house. I'd have been
Really?
I've been all in on that bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I'm too big of a romantic to say that's just crass.
I will say before I transition.
That's crass.
Wait, have you sent a dick pic?
I'll answer that in a second. To put a pin in
Which
this,
means yes.
to put a pin in
Sounds
this
like it.
story, though, so basically, he's contacted by a reporter. It's like, yo, were you harassing this woman? The GM says, well, no, we communicated and blah, blah, blah. But, you know, I might have been inappropriate in some of the things I texted, but, you know, he said, she said. So then the reporter asked, did you send her inappropriate photos? No, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
She has your number. You can't say, well, somebody stole my phone and sent this picture of this dick to this woman.
I got hacked.
It's like, it's almost like you know the answer, but you just want to see how he answers it.
Yeah.
And as men, we understand the whole concept of deny, deny, deny.
Well, how's anybody gonna prove it's his dick?
It came from his phone.
First phone.
Anybody could have had that phone.
If you, well, I guess that's his
true.
intention.
Well, shit, that's a whole bunch of dick pics that from his phone that all of a sudden he needs to have a lock and key under.
Yeah.
Put a fucking password on it.
It's kind of like all these people, every time somebody says something foul on Twitter, they say somebody hacked my account.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what
somebody took my phone and just started sending this woman in particular,
yes,
no other woman,
that's just that person,
particular dick pics,
no,
along with all of these text messages that were inappropriate that I sent to her.
Yeah,
I think a person who sends dick pics sends them all the time. I think.
Oh, yeah.
True. So somebody took my phone, and while I was asleep every night, they sent dick pics to 5 or 6 women.
Yeah, but
you got possessed.
5 or 6 attractive women, and if you're
why they gotta be attractive?
Why would you be?
Why the hell send a dick pic?
No one to knock down.
Well, somebody just stole your phone. They could be sending them to men too.
Okay.
Okay.
And to answer woman's question, because I think it's only fair.
Oh, hold on. I got to back up. Okay. I do remember. I didn't ever send a dick pic, but I did do that D'Angelo shit one time.
Did you have the nips?
The what?
Oh, never mind. The nips.
Oh.
Asking for a friend.
Yes, I did.
What's interesting about this conversation is notice how Reggie said it started with the chest. Reggie's like from the neck to the chest to now the stomach. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty soon it's gonna be at the bottom of his balls.
You're like, no, I just sent her some pubes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, we didn't do that.
Yeah. And I just sent her the tip. Anyway, to answer the question, yes, but I sent one once and it was because a woman asked for it. And what I did was, it was funny to me, was I tried to be all artistic and stuff. So I was literally like positioning the camera to like take a picture of like, okay, this
angle,
not a complete picture of the dick, but like just this little piece of it, and then this piece, and then just so like she could put them all together and see like the totality of it instead of just sending like.
Okay,
it was funny to me at the time, but
That's not that creative.
But I have a question.
It's better than just sending
No, I had a dude send me one with my name spelled out with toothpaste on the side.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And you know that takes a lot for me to say that. But I have a question because I've never done this, so I don't know the protocol. Is it flaccid or is it erect?
Who sends a picture of they soft dick?
Dude, I told you I don't do this shit. I don't know.
Let me show you my smallest angle of my dick. Turn it on.
I'm not a woman. I'm not getting dick pics. I don't know the fuck.
Okay. This is going way left, but I do have one question. Did he spell Pam or Pamela?
Pam wouldn't have been that impressive.
That's why I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Because I'm putting way too much thought into this, but when I'm thinking about toothpaste and how it comes out of the tube, it comes out of the tube thick. So
yeah, it was like bubble letters. But the thing was, I was showing my girlfriends, like, look at this. And then they were all just like, oh, is that
That's
toothpaste?
impressive.
Everybody kept saying, is that toothpaste? Yeah.
Like all that Darth Vader. Most impressive.
But it's funny because when you started by saying like that's not creative, I was like, I thought it was something, but nah, dude got me beat.
Did
Yeah,
prove
you
the
beat.
picture though?
No,
We need proof of life. Is that your thing?
no, because that's the thing. Like I told a homegirl of mine, like who would send out pictures of herself to dudes. I was like, yo, I want you to understand that when you send this picture, you're not just sending it to
And the
him.
homegirl was not me. Let's be clear.
No, it was not. It's like you're not just sending it to that dude. You're sending it
to
to
all these boys,
his friends,
Mhm.
his uncles,
Yeah, pretty much.
everybody in the world. So I was
Yeah.
You
like,
getting shopped like you going to Macy's.
yeah,
Look at this one.
yeah. So it's like, yeah. So it's like, yeah, from the neck down isn't always just a bad thing, especially if you send in body shots or anything else. So no, nobody's getting proof of life from me. Even somebody that I'm in a relationship with, they're not getting proof of life. They getting either the one shot whole thing or they getting my artistic abstract Reggie version.
Or that D'Angelo. How does it feel?
Yeah. So Reggie, we're 22 minutes in. I have one more question before we move on.
Okay.
You went from the neck to the chest to the stomach.
No, I actually enacted the video. I did the video.
He said it with a straight face. Like he said it with a whole straight face.
I did the I did the fucking video. She wanted the video. She said, "Can you do this?" I said, "Hell yeah." I ain't gonna be outdone by D'Angelo. I just didn't have the cornrows.
Okay. Okay. So my question now is, I'm sorry.
He said it so proud. He put his chest out. Yeah, I did the whole video.
So okay. Was the music playing?
Of course it was. Come on now.
Okay. And did you go through the whole song or was it just like a snippet of the song?
No, I did the whole song.
You had time.
Baby, baby, you was fine.
Okay.
Baby, please, baby, please.
What were her thoughts of this when she received it?
That was a very good night. Like Ice Cube says, today was a good day.
And see, that's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to right there. With men, we can clown each other all day about the craziest stuff. Like that's some of the craziest shit I've ever heard in my life. What Reggie just said.
That's top toothpaste, dog.
But woman, does that surprise you from Reggie though?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
But as funny as it was, and as crazy as it was, the one thing about it is when he said it was a good night, shuts everything down. As long as the goal was achieved, hey, it's like I always say with like the Gordon Gartrell shirt in the Cosby Show, where Denise made him the fake Gordon Gartrell, and he was.
How do you remember the name of the shirt?
I don't know.
Just some random things.
And
but you can't pick the lottery numbers.
$1 billion.
I didn't see the lottery numbers.
I'm just saying, you had to be. Never mind.
Okay. So, like the Gordon Gartrell shirt, for people that didn't watch the show, Denise, his sister, made him a bootleg Gordon Gartrell because he couldn't afford to buy one of his own, and he wore it by mistake, and women saw it, and guys were clowning him because the shirt looked stupid. But women started saying, "Oh, that's cute," and all of a sudden, all the fellas was like, "Can you make me one?"
Make me one too.
Yep. And that's how guys are, and the difference in how we are and women. Women do stuff for other women. Men
do stuff for women. That's why women have the power.
That is why women have the power, even if they misuse it.
Or give it away. One of the two.
We're not going to start talking about how people misuse power. We're not going to do that.
But one thing I will say, going back to something that woman said before, and other women have said this to me in the past, it's funny how me and Reggie always talk about how, for the most part, men are the same. There are obvious differences in certain cases, but we always if we don't do that, we know what the person was thinking when they did that.
Exactly.
And so the reason I bring that up is because for a woman, for you to think, and for other women, like I've spoken to before, to think that this thing happened and what is it about me? When it's like, no, there's rarely ever a case with a woman where you're the only one that is happening to. So if you get, in this case, as weirdly as it sounds, if you get a penis pic, yeah, to think, what is it about you? No, your first thought should be, no, I'm not unique or special, as bad as it might be to hear from some people. No, this is what this dude does. This is
25
what
dick pics
dude,
in a group chat.
right. This is what dudes do.
Yeah,
So,
as I've gotten older, I've stopped owning everything.
right. Because man, I tell you what, not everything is is your fault, not you specifically, but women just internalize stuff differently and
Oh
from the
my
ways that
God.
men do. And it's like, even
Because
So
we
respons-
constantly here take responsibility. Don't put yourself in a bad situation. It's the way you present yourself. Carry yourself a certain way, and people will treat you with a certain measure of respect, which is some bullshit.
Well, they do that to us too. But the other thing that, you know,
Y'all
with
just don't
women,
listen though.
we just don't care.
yeah, we
Yeah,
just don't, for
little
the most part,
girls
we just don't
care.
care. But the other thing is, women have a tendency to take on other people's feelings when that shit ain't gonna do you any good at
It just
all.
weighs you down, just bogs you down.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. And to that point, man, I tell you what, and it's strange how women express love so much differently than men do. It's like if somebody says, I'm having a bad day, I'm depressed, I'm sad, that will make that woman depressed or sad. And it's like, it doesn't help for two people to be depressed and sad. It's
Well,
like,
we don't get depressed or sad automatically. We just think it's our duty to make you feel better.
That's what it is.
Yeah, when you shut us down, then we're depressed or sad because you shut us down.
well, I think it's because you need to be more in tune with that way that that person would need to be made to feel better. And doing things that you might want to do that would make you feel better, acknowledging that that might not work for that dude, and finding out what would work for that dude. That's
Because
what.
Michael,
Hmm?
Michael used to always call me an insensitive ass.
I still do.
Oh no,
Okay,
I gave him
but
that moniker. It
but
fits.
I know who's really insensitive. I did start taking, uh, empathy courses and shit like that to
There's a such
understand.
thing,
Yeah, actually, they are. Yeah, there are a whole bunch of them out
but you're
there.
serious.
Yeah,
You
because
had to take a class on learning how to be empathetic.
well, this is the trick. This is the trick. This is what
No,
I thought.
answer my question.
Yes, because what I was doing is exactly what you sat there and said, that you thought you're being empathetic, but you're not. Being empathetic means you just sitting there saying, I understand. Yes. And you just let them be them. You let them be them. You don't try to, yes, I've been, I could understand how you feel, but not this, and this. And, you can try this, and this, and this. You're not trying to fix their problems. You just sit there. They just want to be heard. I was like, oh, that's what that means. Okay.
And to a couple of points, one, because men naturally try to fix
Fix
things.
things.
Yeah, stepping back from that and understanding when a woman says, I just want to be heard, I just wanted to talk it out or whatever, and just like resisting that urge to interject and like apply your reasoning to it. That's the one thing. And the second thing, like you giving them grief for like taking a class, but really to me, that's what therapy is. You're talking to someone to learn how to address something. In his case, his being an asshole and lacking empathy.
I know when he said it, I was like, really?
It was too easy.
Is
I know that was
It was
yeah,
too
Yeah.
easy.
That you?
that was a good shot. That was a good shot.
Yeah.
First of all, pot as in I'm not empathetic. I ooze with that mess. I am.
He can't even get that shit out
I
without.
know he can't even spell the shit.
Man,
We
anyway,
put that
what's
shit on
your
a Soul
question?
Train, boy. He couldn't spell
I
that
know
shit.
he can't even get it out.
Mister, I don't know. I don't believe in chemistry.
I'm gonna call you back when you finish crying. Okay.
First of all, I don't believe in chemistry. That's a myth. I don't care what anyone says. And we do have a podcast episode coming up on that where we address that mess. And
That explains so
I
much,
shut
Reggie.
all
Doesn't
of
it?
that down. And as far as
Does it,
what,
darling? It's been a lot,
I
darling.
don't believe in chemistry.
I don't believe in chemistry.
and as
He
far
wonder
as
why he can't get a date.
But and as far as what woman is saying about crying, I'll come back later. There is a story from back in the day.
A story implies that it's not true.
Hmm.
There is an
Are,
instance.
are we making our own narratives here?
I think we are.
I think so.
There is
We
something
don't do fake news.
there is something that happened
As he does,
back
fair
in
and
the
balanced.
day that is open to interpretation as to how it played out. There was a woman that I worked with.
Did y'all just work at work?
Mm. Cue the music. Boom. Do, 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 do,
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
do.
This is the problem with having women on that know you. We had a something.
A situationship.
An
Let's call it
entanglement.
that. That
An
was
entanglement.
that was those
An entanglement. That's a better
Entanglement.
word.
those
Yeah.
weren't terms. Those weren't terms back in the day, but that's what they were before there was a label put to them. But she was going through something. Somebody died or something like that. And so I went up to her desk, and because I heard what happened and I'm sitting next to her, and she starts talking about the person that passed and stuff like that. And as she's talking about it, she's and it's not funny. It's not funny.
Obviously, it is.
I'm about to laugh.
And so in the process of talking about it, she starts to tear up.
She starts to cry.
She started to tear up.
She started to cry.
There were tears in her eyes. Define crying however you want to.
Oh, that
Anyway,
Prince.
so,
Time for the tears, you guys.
so she's starting to tear up. And so my thing was maybe my being here is contributing to her tearing up in
Is that
some
really your thought process? I think your thought process was, I don't want to be here.
my thought process might have been, well, she's emotional and she might it might be embarrassing for her that I'm here watching this, so I should leave her to her devices. So I got up and said, I'll come back later.
So, in your man mind, it never occurred to you to lean in and offer her a shoulder to cry on.
In your man mind.
Okay.
That's a real question.
Maybe if we were not in a public place, maybe if we were in private, that might have been the case. But I'm thinking,
Was it
if
the
we're-
stock floor or was it a cubicle?
Hold up, darling. I have a question. I want to go back. You were in an entanglement with this woman. That means you fucked her, right?
Ooh,
we might have had relations.
you knew
Oh,
who
that's a
this
yes or
was?
no question. You can't might. It's like I might fall down the steps.
Yeah, I fucked her. You can't handle the truth.
Oh,
Yeah. So that being said,
way to draw him out.
I know.
Great journalism.
With that being
Oh,
said,
Larry King.
why the hell would you take on the responsibility that her crying is your responsibility and you need to extract
That
and
class
use
didn't
your
work
man
for your
mind?
ass. That class, you need your money back from that class. Was it free?
Hell yeah.
Obviously.
I
Well,
took
Reg-
the
well,
shit for
Reggie,
sensitivity training.
it wasn't like I hated her guts. If she were like going through something, I
No,
felt
but why would you think that it was your fault that she was tearing up
Why
if
do
you
you think it was not?
well,
because he said it was
no. Regardless of it wasn't because I went up there and when I got up there, she wasn't tearing up. She was cool.
okay.
I said, I'm sorry for your loss. And that prompted her to start talking about it. And that's when she started tearing
what
up. So
was
my
your-
bringing it up is what made me think that I might have had a role in it.
What was
Yeah,
your
that-
real intent when you went by?
It was to just say, hey, I heard and I'm sorry.
No, your
Okay.
real intent was to get points for acknowledging it so y'all could have some more dirty, unsolicited. That was your real intent.
see.
And if you just own that,
I'm not going there.
you know,
That is so untrue.
that is
But-
so true.
But I'm
So-
not going there. Oh, my thing is this because I'm still on the whole thing. Yes, I heard that, let's say my wife, okay, this past Christmas, my wife coworker died.
Of COVID?
We really don't know yet.
Who cares?
It was very
Completely
unexpected.
sold it.
Yeah, very unexpected. And if I come up there and say, sorry for your loss, blah blah, and she starts tearing up, and maybe this is part of the class that I need to get my money back, even though it was free. I'm not going to blame myself for.
That's not a blame, but you're not gonna walk away.
Well, no. The reason why he walked away because he thought he was the one upsetting her.
No, he walked away because he didn't want to deal with the emotional part of it.
Well, we know this, but that's not what he said on the tape.
But I'm just saying though, just own it.
I
He
know
walked
that's what
away
because he felt
thinking,
uncomfortable.
I came over to do my Billy D. Williams on her ass. This ain't what I wanted. So let me just go back. And don't make that face like you don't know who Billy D is.
Of course I know who
Y'all
Billy
went
D
to
is.
high school together.
Of course I know who Billy. Billy D is like 80 years old.
Well,
Anyway, first of all, that is not true. What woman is saying. It wasn't like just a ploy to set her up for more relations.
yes, it was.
It was because I genuinely felt bad for her, and I genuinely felt, and forgive me for looking down, I am playing with woman's dog.
Hey, dog.
First of all, woman's baby. That is not a dog. Hey, baby girl.
Anyway,
But no. Honestly, like all jokes aside,
all jokes aside,
I thought that if I didn't come up there, she wouldn't have started crying. And because it was a public setting, it would be embarrassing for other people to see her crying.
It would have been embarrassing to you to have to console her.
I thought it would have been embarrassing to her. Nobody wants to be crying in front of other people.
I just don't understand why you thought it was you, but that's
Who
cool.
feels comfortable crying in front of other people?
Women, because we're in touch with our vulnerabilities.
Anyway,
when the dog died in I Am Legend.
If this mother blanket brings up that dog from I Am Legend one more mother blanking time. Okay. Anyway,
the guy who doesn't believe in chemistry, Mr. Maybe I need to ship him that empathy training.
So to finish this story, so we can wrap this episode up. So I stood up and said, I'll come back later. Now, I didn't think anything of it. So I go downstairs and I start talking to other women, like woman, and my other female friend, Kobe Co. And they're just looking at me as I'm telling the story, like I killed a cat or something like that.
Yeah.
And I am not understanding.
The way I'm looking at you right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Me too, because I'm like, what the fuck?
And everybody who's listening.
Pretty much.
And I'm the sensitive one, dog.
And honestly, I have no idea why they're looking at me that way. And then they just lit into me. Now, mind you, also, this thing happened like 15, 20 years ago, if not longer. And the fact that this still comes up on a podcast episode in 2021 boggles my mind. They will not let me forget that one instance.
Oh no.
That was stupid.
It was one instance that highlighted your level of insensitivity.
But that was just stupid.
I guess the bigger deal is it speaks to how, and this can apply to relationships even to this day, how a person is used to their own reality and their own way of dealing with things. To your point that you mentioned earlier, you don't know what a person needs, and you give them what you
I never
would
said
need.
that.
Yes, it is. That's exactly what you said like 5 minutes ago.
I said women.
But
you're a woman?
Yeah.
You're not just
but I didn't own that.
You're not just
I didn't say, yeah,
you are a woman.
I am a woman.
I am a woman every day.
You represent all women for the purpose of this episode.
Shit.
But yeah, so that's the point. It's like giving somebody what they need versus what you would like. True. And for me, in that instance, if I'm crying for whatever reason,
the dog died.
Especially
stop talking about dogs dying.
Especially at work, if I'm crying, the thing that's going to embarrass me more and make me feel worse, besides the fact that I'm crying in a public space, is if everybody knows, if there are people drawing attention to the fact that I'm crying in a public space. So that's not obviously what she needed at that.
Obviously not.
But it speaks to the bigger issue of giving people what they need versus what you would like to give them. And in that case, looking back at it 20 years later, that was a bit of a mistake on my part.
Actually, that's a big.
You've admitted it.
Actually, that's a good bridge
That is
because
not the
people do
first
that
time.
same.
Yes, okay, the second time in 20
No, it is
years.
not. Reggie, what did you say? It's a good
Actually,
bridge.
that's a good bridge because people do that with love too. People love people the way they want to be loved instead of just asking the other person. So, how should I love you?
Absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Look at Michael being all profound and shit.
No. Hey, a broken clock is right twice a day. Now, with that said, we got a couple minutes left. This episode didn't go quite the way that I planned it because we spent way too much time on dick pics,
Dick pics.
which
That's a phenomenon.
right, which
Or crisis. What do they call it when it's real bad? An epidemic.
Epidemic.
Yeah.
a pandemic.
Don't say that.
Yeah. So it's like, whereas I said in the beginning of the episode that this wasn't the topic, apparently it was the topic. So hopefully you enjoyed the topic because apparently it's something that all women can relate to in one form or the other. And I look forward to getting the feedback.
Dude, I've heard of it, but I didn't realize it was that damn rampant.
Oh yeah.
This is batshit crazy to me.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I never really took a poll on it, but yeah, just from having conversations with women, I have not had a woman that has ever told me like, nah, I never got one of those. I have no idea what you're talking about. Kind of like when guys complain about women, and I'm always saying that I want to find a situation where I'm with a woman and something happens, and I go to the fellas and I'm like, this happened. I would love for them to be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But every situation I had with a woman, when I go to the fellas and talk about it, they always respond by saying, yeah, that happened to me. Yeah. And I guess this is one of those instances for women. They all can relate to it. I'm sorry. If you can't relate to it,
hit us up.
If you've never had a dick pic sent to you,
hit us up.
And tell us where you live. So we can move there.
Hit us up because yeah.
I kind of feel bad though, Reggie. If every man that I knew said that they had a picture of their breasts unsolicited on their phone, I would be like, what is it about me that I'm not getting?
Maybe we can just bring to their phone. And while we on that note, stop asking for pictures in return. I'm already grossed out and annoyed that you sent your dick pic. Don't ask me to send you one of me back. I'm not doing that. I'm not going anywhere and taking a picture of my vagina and sending it to you.
That's another thing that's interesting.
Oh,
there is nothing that really attractive about a vagina. I mean,
you're gonna get lots of feedback on that.
You're on your own on that one, buddy.
You're gonna get
I'm
lots
sorry.
of feedback on that.
That mess looks like butchered meat.
Man,
Oh,
yeah.
Well, shit. Serve me up some.
You gonna get lots of feedback.
I don't know what the fuck you talking about, buddy.
But Reggie, here's the thing, and this is why I believe that being gay is not a choice. It's something that you're born with.
Wow, he just trying to get shot all the day, ain't he?
I'm about to tell you, because as disgusting as I think vag looks, boy, you can serve it up to me any day of the week and twice on Saturday. So.
And women, if you're gonna send vag pictures, because maybe I'm a prude in this, get the number right.
Hold up.
What?
We only got a few more seconds, but hold up a second. You've gotten vag pictures by mistake?
I haven't, but my mother has.
Your mother?
My 73-year-old mother called me whispering one day. I thought she had fallen and couldn't get up. And I was like, what? I got a picture of a vagina. I'm like, whose is it? I don't know.
Why was she whispering?
I don't know.
I notice that old people do whisper sometimes when there are things like somebody in the sky is listening or something, like they trying to whisper.
Maybe she thought Alexa was gonna know. I don't know, but she called me whispering about it and wanted to know what to do with it. And I'm like, just delete it or call them and let them know, hey, you sent it to the wrong person. So the more to this number. Don't send it to the wrong person. Don't send it to somebody you don't know, and don't send it to your dad or your uncles.
Okay. I said hit my music earlier. Oh no, I didn't. But you can hit it now. I think we're done here. Thank you, woman, for being part of this discussion.
You're welcome, man.
Thank you, darling.
Reginald, as always, say bye.
Bye, Reggie.
Bye. Yeah.
Dude, I could be an egotistical MF. And we all know that. Everyone in the room knows that. But there's no way in the hell I'm sending unsolicited dick pics. That's some over-the-top shit.
Man, that's
Like I
it.
said, I never, I understand. I've seen men do that shit, but I was like, who the fuck do you think you are that you think your dick is that damn beautiful? But apparently, as you said, it works.
Yeah, it has to work because women always like, I don't understand why dudes always do this. The reason dudes do anything because it
It
works.
has to work.
Yeah,
But damn,
but see,
that mentality though, boy, wow.
but from a woman's perspective, you know how women are. It's like if it doesn't work like 95.99% of the time, then what's the purpose of doing it? Whereas men understand that shoot, if it works 30% of the time, that's all the more reason to do it.
True, because like I said, going back to one of our podcasts we had earlier, why women don't ask men out, women cannot handle rejection, and that you
Right.
sit there and plainly state, if it doesn't work 100% of the time, they ain't doing it.
Right.
A man knows that he's going to strike out at least 80% of the time, unless he just has smooth game.
Right. Definitely more so than not.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
talking to a friend of mine last night, and we're talking about, I would love to have an interview with Brad Pitt, Idris Elba, Denzel Washington, and those, sexy George Clooney, those sexy motherfuckers that women drool over right now before they got famous back in high school, and know how many women, and also find the woman that they were very attracted to that they could not get.
Yeah. Yeah. People will be pleasantly surprised, I would think.
Yes, they would be.